Money grows, peace can grow. Money stack grow, only money grows.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your boy King Marcel, and we are back with another video. Today we are coming with a video titled "The Moment Justin Bieber Finds Out He Lost Everything." Now, with the whole Diddy situation and everything that had been going on with that, we know that Justin Bieber was a big character in that saga. He was somebody who was ridiculed a lot on the internet when that whole situation was going on, and he's been dealing with a lot, you could tell. Even when it comes to when people were decoding the Yummy video and all of the stuff, the cryptic stuff that he had, it seemed like he was trying to expose the industry a lot. So we're about to get into this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video. We on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys sub up and join the kingdom. Also, I am also live streaming over at Twitch Wednesday through Fridays, sometimes Saturday nights. So make sure you guys go over there and follow me as well. But with that being said, let's get right into this one, man. This shit is crazy.
Justin Bieber is falling apart, and the industry that built him is once again profiting off of his downfall. He's been posting manic videos on his Instagram, using face-distorting filters and just rambling incoherently about religion, identity, and sacrifice. Most of his fortune, reportedly over $500 million earned in his career, is being ripped away from him, and nothing seems to make sense. But once you look behind the surface, you realize that Justin's decline isn't an accident. It's been manufactured behind the scenes since he was just 13 years old. And in July 2025, as Bieber released his first album in 4 years, a surprise project called Swag, the same machine that created him is now feeding off of his destruction. Because in this industry, your suffering keeps the lights on. But to understand what's really happening to Justin right now, we need to go back.
The industry is that literally they profit off of these folks' downfall. Like, as soon as they music and stuff ain't like going in the green anymore, and you know what I'm saying, they able to make a big profit off of their music anymore, they're like, well, we just gonna make our money off of slandering you in the tabloids then. You know what I'm saying? We gonna sell your image, your likeness, in all types of ways to, you know what I'm saying, recuperate the loans and the money that we funneled into you. And a lot of people don't understand. They get it misconstrued that the industry is a business at the end of the day. I understand that it's an art form, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people's art that is coming from their own mind is, you know what I'm saying, what's being displayed in front of the world and what people are, you know what I'm saying, being drawn to. But they need to understand this is a business. It's X and O's, and it's black and white at the end of the day when it comes to those contracts. And if you don't understand the language of your contracts and understand that they using trust law in your contracts, then you will never, you know what I'm saying, really grasp the deception and the manipulation that's going on in the industry. But so many people want to be involved in the industry, whether it's as a musician or an artist or shit, even just somebody on a baddies show, you know what I'm saying? Now understand that when you sign those contracts, what comes with those contracts? Like, for real.
The beginning, to truly understand how a 13-year-old boy busking on the streets of Ontario became one of the most exploited figures in modern entertainment, who serves as a warning to anyone in the music industry, and how the same people who promised to protect him ultimately became his predators. It's 2008, and a charming-looking 13-year-old with a bowl cut is singing Ne-Yo's So Sick on the steps of the Avon Theatre in Stratford, Ontario. His mother films him on a cheap camera and uploads it to YouTube so his grandmother can watch. And within weeks, that innocent video attracts the attention of Scooter Braun, a 27-year-old music executive hunting for the next big thing. Braun flies Justin and a single mother to Atlanta, and the pitch is very seductive: fame, fortune, and the chance to live his dreams. There, Justin meets Usher, one of the biggest guys in the industry in that time, so it doesn't take long for record contracts to be signed. Photo ops are arranged, and the narrative is perfect: the small-town Canadian boy that makes it big in America. The early years seemed to just be magical for Bieber and his family at the time. Baby became one of the most watched videos videos in YouTube history. His concerts
Still
sold out
is.
in minutes and merchandise flew off the shelves. But behind the scenes, this 14-year-old is already starting to lose control of their life. His first kiss became a media event. His voice cracking is turned into content discussed by talk show hosts.
And think about like how creepy that is. Like, and I remember when that was going on, because when that stuff was going on, I was around his age. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Justin Bieber was around the same age. So when that stuff was going on, it was even weird to me then. I'm like, why the hell do they give a fuck about this little boy first kiss and stuff like that? And I not as much as like people our age. I mean, like, so adults, like, they would be talking about this shit in the news. You know what I'm saying? It would be in the news cycles about how these young folks was chasing after this boy and all of this shit. And it's like, who cares? And that should let y'all know how the media is structured in a way for like very creepy things to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like finding out the stuff that Diddy has done and the shit that Usher has been a part of and all of this shit that's going on in the underground behind the cabal of all of these secret societies and stuff, and that they are partaking into sex magic and stuff like that with younglings. We should be thankful that Justin Bieber is still here with us. Like, literally, like the fact that he's still here we should be very glad, because he still has a chance to tell his story. And so many people that have came and went, you know what I'm saying, and have died at young ages without even being able to expose what has truly happened to them. But I feel like Justin Bieber gonna be one of the ones that come out and say something.
His awkward teenage years are broadcast globally for profit, like something straight out of the Truman Show, where everything in his life is designed around people watching him from afar. Ellen DeGeneres, America's supposed sweetheart at the time, repeatedly ambushed the teenage Justin with embarrassing content during interviews. She's suddenly displaying photos designed to humiliate him, then laugh when he looks uncomfortable. Then he calls her out on this and she brushes it off as just harmless fun. This was psychological manipulation disguised as entertainment. Even more disturbing was actress Jenny McCarthy's behavior at award shows, as she multiple times attempts to kiss the teenage Justin inappropriately, including once trying to kiss his neck while he was accepting an award. He's visibly disgusted but forced to maintain composure. Even people like James Corden can't stop touching him. But perhaps the most sinister figure in Justin's early years was Diddy. The footage of their interactions, viewed through the lens of what we now know about Diddy, is genuinely disturbing. In one now famous, infamous video, Diddy promises 15-year-old Justin a Lamborghini when he turns 16 and offers him a house when he's 18. These weren't just casual offers, they're classic grooming behavior using expensive gifts to create obligations to him, a pattern he's repeated with numerous celebrities, though perhaps none as young and as vulnerable as Justin, that we know of. Even more troubling is the footage where Diddy openly says that Justin should know better than to talk about what happens at his place.
And he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Diddy had custody of a 15-year-old Justin for 48 hours. Just let that sink in. An adult man with a document.
Every time I hear that is just like, bro, what was going on? His parents had to have been involved in a lot of this messed up stuff. Genuinely, and I have no facts to prove this. This is just my opinion. I feel like his mother sold him. A lot of that happens. People sell their children all the time to folks, to a lot of rich folks, yo. Unfortunately, that is a thing, and it just seemed like she just passed him along, man. Cause I don't care who it is. You could be the Pope. You could be anybody. I don't know. You can't be the Pope, because I don't hold him half you guys either. But you could be anybody that you would think is trustworthy. I'm not finna trust you with my kid alone. They gave Diddy, take that. 48 hours unsupervised relations with your son. Like, what we talking about, bro? None of that makes sense. None of that is normal. But they try to make that sound like it's a normal thing that happens. It's not. Nothing about that is normal at all.
History of very inappropriate behavior, given unsupervised access to a child star for 2 full days. There's also strange footage that appears to show Diddy checking Justin for a wire, as if the teenager might be recording their conversations. Given what we now know about Diddy's alleged crimes today, and all the freak-off parties and abuse of young artists, those 48 hours might take on a much darker significance. You can actually see the nervousness in Bieber's face then, and that's only grown into a much deeper, more stirring expression that makes you wonder what he's been subjected to behind closed doors. All of this is happening while he never gets to live a normal childhood life. Everyone around him is always screaming. People hate him everywhere, paparazzi's always following him. His entire life from his earliest memories has always been watched and recorded, all for other people's entertainment.
Every time I see when a celebrity comes out of their home and then, or wherever they come out of, and the paparazzi is already there flashing like all of those flashes going on. It reminds me of that episode of South Park with Britney Spears, when they was basically saying that she was a sacrifice, basically, and that the reason why the tabloids and stuff do that is that over time, you know what I'm saying, it's to make them do it to themselves, you know what I'm saying, to make them get themselves out of here. And we seen that with Heath Ledger. We seen that with how many celebrities that ended up doing that to themselves. And it's like watching this like happen before our eyes with Justin Bieber. It's like, man, it seems like it's all like a psychological game that's being played. It's psychological warfare. Remember, the things that we've been exposing here on this channel, that the CIA is heavily involved in the beginnings of Hollywood. They created Hollywood. So it's the fact that knowing that, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of our TV programs and movies that we watch are literally funded by the CIA, funded by the government. But I don't know, we don't think that we're being targeted for brainwashing. It's astounding.
Anytime he's annoyed, that's good content. Anytime he feels awkward or insecure as a young teenager, is exposed to the entire world. But actually the most shocking thing with Justin and other child stars who've fallen into similar fates is what's happening in plain sight, and the roles of those close to them who seem to fail them. Throughout this period, manager Scooter Braun positioned himself as Justin's guardian. The narrative was perfect for the media. A wise older brother guides a talented kid through the danger of fame. They were inseparable. Braun made himself essential to every aspect of Justin's career and personal life, but this wasn't really protection. It isolated Bieber and made him dependent on Scooter, and by extension the power.
I don't give no fuck like how busy I get, or you know what I'm saying, like I'm not finna fall into the trap of having somebody wipe my ass for me, you know what I'm saying? But it's the fact that's just why they get these folks, why they young and susceptible to all of this manipulation. But you can't turn my brain off and say you gonna handle all my affairs and everything gonna be straight. No, I need to check them numbers myself. I need to know what's going on. I need to learn the business. This is my shit that I got going on, and I pay you. Why the hell wouldn't I know what's going on and I just let you handle everything? You not me. But this is the okie doke. We signing over your consent. Justin Bieber's life has been signed over then time and time again, through contract. And he just don't understand because no one seems to be in any of these artists' corner to teach them about trust law, about the secret societies and how they are manipulating birth certificates and using people's consent against them. They not getting taught that, and it shows.
Parasitic entertainment industry. He controlled Justin's schedule, his finances, his relationships, and his career decisions, his entire life. He positioned himself as the only person Justin could possibly trust in this dangerous industry, and he was the one who would dictate Justin's life forever. In Justin's case, he just didn't realize what was happening until it was almost too late. The spark in his eyes from those early YouTube videos gradually dimmed with each passing year of this, replaced by a hollow stare that spoke of someone who's been emptied out. So fast forward to 2020, and Justin Bieber's career was in full swing and had generated between $500 to $1 billion during his career. His concerts always sold out stadiums. His albums would always go platinum. His merchandise was a global phenomenon. By any reasonable measure, he should have been set for life. It was only up from here, right? This is what people imagine when they think of living the dream. He had ultimate success, all the connections you could possibly ever want, all the money you could ever want, all the fame you could ever want, even the looks you would want. Justin quite literally had everything you could wish for. But in reality, he had almost nothing, and Justin's financial situation was falling apart behind the scenes. So how does someone earn $1 billion and end up financially desperate? It may seem impossible, but it's a well-trodden path for young people in the entertainment industry, a slippery slope that you struggle to get off of. It's a classic music industry debt trap that catches many young successful artists. Those with the biggest, purest dreams are some of the easiest targets. Here's how it works. Record labels and management companies at the top of the industry give artists advances, upfront payments that look like free money but are actually loans against future earnings. The catch is that these advances are recoupable, meaning they could just be paid back through the artist's share of royalties, which typically range from 10 to 16% of total sales. But it gets worse through something called cross-collateralization. That means if one album flops, the debt carries over onto the next project. All of Justin's future earnings from any source the contract covers get used to pay off old debts, so a failed album in 2015 could still be eating into profits from a hit album in 2020. Now,
exactly. But what makes this so crazy in his situation, again, like he said at the beginning of this, Justin Bieber been going platinum. That boy don't know nothing else but platinum. So how isn't he recuperating his loans? This gets into the very deceptive games that these labels be playing when it comes to touring, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to features, when it comes to studio use. These are all hidden how do I say it? These are all hidden charges that are put on the artist that they don't know are finna be put on them. Half of them don't even know that the fucking advance that they get is a loan. It's not your money just to do whatever you want to sign to them and stay with them. No, it's a loan, and it's money that has to be recuperated. But then you don't know that, okay, let's say a label gives you $3 million, right? And they say, okay, put out an album. They expecting you to use that $3 million to go and get how many features you need and the studio time that you need to you know what I'm saying, to recuperate that money, right? But then this is where they get you. You'll pay for, they'll hit you with the, okay, you gonna use this studio. They won't say, hey, our studio, we're going to be charging you by the hour, however many hours you are in here. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to secretly tally up how many times you use the studio, how many hours you put into using their studio, even though they told you to use your studio, to use their studio, or they put it in verbiage in your contract that you have to use their studio. And they damn near charging $30,000 an hour at this damn studio. Right? Now imagine if you're an artist that don't know this is going on, right? And let's say you in the studio, you having fun at the studio, you just rolling up, you having you a good old dandy time at the studio, you know what I'm saying? And you're just wasting time, and you end up being in the studio for 12 hours. But you didn't know that you was in there for $30,000 per hour. $10,000 per hour. So let's just say on the low end, right? You in a low budget studio, right? And you doing, and this ain't low budget by all means, but let's say for a big artist like that, right? For $10,000 an hour, and you in there for 12 hours, that's $120,000. You can't be going in there wasting time, but you know how many artists do that? You know how many artists go in the studio and blow that it's a budget. Your budget is your advance, and they blow that shit. Whenever you hear about an artist's budget, it's the budget from their advance. You got to think from some of their advance, they want to keep some of that shit too. Be able to buy a house, pay bills and shit like that. That is supposed to go into that stuff. And then you got artists out here charging $500,000 for a feature and shit like that for you to help yourself stay hot or to grow. All of these things are slowly eating up at that $3 million. That $3 million start to look like, man, this ain't that much money. And it's not that much money, because my thing is, it was never your money. It was a loan. You get what I'm saying? All of that shit I just said, this is all money that has to be paid back. It's but think about, they are signing children. They're signing drug dealers. They're signing people who don't read. You know what I'm saying? They don't know, who didn't graduate, who know. And not saying that means anything, because you can learn outside of school, but people who aren't putting the initiative forward to learn. That's what's happening. And it sucks to see this happening to somebody who has this much talent, and so many people that have had talent and just get messed over because they don't understand legalese.
Obviously, Justin wasn't exactly broke here in the traditional sense. His current net worth is still estimated to be around $200 to $300 million, but the vast majority was illiquid, and he faced a severe cash flow crisis in 2022, as sources claim that he was on the verge of financial collapse and was so cash poor that he had to borrow a friend's credit card to play golf. But before we continue, I want to tell you about Odoo. Odoo is an all-in-one management software that provides
Make your money, make
answer
your
a
money.
business.
I just ain't getting
So you can read out or pay batch invoice additional free with or if deep into his Justice World Tour, a massive 131-day global expedition that was supposed to be his triumphant return after a previous health struggle, when in June 2022 he posted a video that shocked the world. Half of his face was paralyzed.
As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move. So there's full paralysis in this side of my face.
He'd been diagnosed with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, a rare neurological condition that left him unable to blink in one eye or move half his mouth. He said his lifestyle had neurological condition.
Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, herpes. So it's herpes in his eye. His face went paralyzed from having herpes in his eye. I did not know that. This speaks to the rumor about what happened with Diddy and Usher. That it's a rumor that when Usher went to the Diddy's Flavor camp, he had to he kissed a woman who had herpes. And basically he did something with some folks that had herpes and that he had to go to the hospital. That's allegedly, you know what I'm saying? That's what's said about Diddy, that he has that. Cassie had herpes. That's in the, you know what I'm saying? Y'all can fact check that. That's not me just saying that. In the case, it came out, Cassie has herpes. All the people who dealt with Diddy has herpes. So is it a stretch to say that Diddy has herpes and has been spreading it amongst all these people who he's been sexually assaulting in the industry? I don't think that's such a far-fetched or a conclusion to come to, you know what I'm saying? But for it to be that bad and that severe to where it's in your eye, that's disgusting. That's horrible. Oh my God.
That left him unable to blink in one eye or move half his mouth. He said his lifestyle was starting to take a huge toll on his health. Any reasonable management team would immediately have cancelled the tour and prioritised their artist's health, but allegedly his team continued to push him to perform. When Justin finally couldn't continue, the financial implications were catastrophic. He owed the concert promoter $26 million from a $40 million advance. Instead of helping his longtime client find a solution, it's alleged that Braun's company stepped in with what appeared to be a generous offer. They would cover the $26 million in debt to AEG and allow Justin to pay them back over 10 years. On the surface, it looked like Braun was saving Justin, but in reality, he might have been transferring Justin's debt from one master to another, himself, the guy who controlled his entire life. And when Justin only
make sure that he stayed in his pocket, he's Justin's handler. He's obviously Justin's handler, and put him in a fight and made him do that tour. They damn near did something to his face. Allegedly, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. But that's just how it seemed to me. They then did that to his face. Made him miss that so that he goes further in debt because he was then finna leave them and separate himself from them, from this guy. Did that and was like, hey, we can bail you out here. You just pay me back over 10 years. But it's to make sure he stays in that boy's pocket. Manipulation, brainwashing at work. This is how that works. And y'all are seeing a broad day.
Made one payment before stopping, the debt just kept on growing. And then the hole starts to get deeper and deeper. And by 2023, Justin's business manager Lo Taylor conducted a financial review and made a shocking discovery. Braun had allegedly been overpaid $26 million in commissions over the years. Allegations turned to theft. And it also turned out that Taylor herself might not also be trustworthy. Firstly, although referred to as an accountant, she's actually apparently not qualified as one.
She was playing the role of business manager, which is a financial role, even though Lou Taylor had no financial background. She was not even an accountant.
She kicks off her career managing Britney Spears' sister, then acting as a spokesperson for the Spears family. Lo then ended up also managing Britney Spears and has taken all the credit for establishing Britney's conservatorship. And in classic Hollywood style, she was also later accused of having an affair with Britney's father, Jamie. It's a typical story of control and greed in Hollywood.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
Braun's company then eventually responded to Taylor by conducting their own internal audit, which concluded that Justin actually owed Braun an additional $1 million in unpaid commissions. Justin's team called this audit corrupt. The conflict escalated until they got one of the world's most respected accounting firms to conduct an independent investigation. After 6 months of forensic analysis, PwC delivered their verdict in April 2025. Justin owed Scooter Braun $8.8 million in unpaid commissions. Let that sink in. After earning close to $1 billion after years of sold-out tours and platinum albums, Justin Bieber was revealed to apparently be millions in debt to his own manager. The audit was so damning that Justin's team didn't even dispute the findings. As Bieber's finances were pulled apart in a very public way, the psychological damage was beginning to become impossible to ignore. By 2024, this revealed a man in deep crisis. The media put Bieber's downfall under the microscope, and he was starting to crack, just like anyone would in this Truman Show reality. Quote, "People told me my whole life, well, Justin, you deserve that, and I personally have always felt unworthy," he posted on social media. "Like I was a fraud, like when people told me I deserved something, it made me feel sneaky, like damn, if they only knew my thoughts, how judgmental I am, how selfish I really am." This was a textbook trauma response from someone who's been manipulated his whole life. The industry had convinced him that his success was undeserved, that he was lucky to have people helping him, and that questioning their methods made him ungrateful. That his entire life
time it was his talent that opened the doors even for those folks to be paid. This shit is disgusting. The fact that people are doing this to folks and getting away with it. He's the talented one. And so many people who are talented get used up and just thrown away. It's crazy.
It was owed to them. Back in December 2022, when the debts were mounting and the cash flow problems spiraled out of control, Justin made a decision that would haunt him forever. He sold his entire 291 song catalog to Hypnosis Songs Capital for $200 million. At 28 years old, Justin became the youngest major artist to ever sell their entire catalog, essentially trading his life's work for a bailout from debts that the industry system itself had created. A year later, he then fired Scooter Braun, but had been holding meetings for a new potential manager for about 3 years already. It's reported that Haley...
He like, man, anything to get my soul back. That man wanted his soul back, and he was like, I'll pay that price. Fuck that. Keep that money, y'all. Whatever I gotta do to just be rid of y'all and get y'all from out my corner. And the fact that he had to do that just to get some people to say to some people, man, I'm good off you. This is the hole that so many artists get buried in.
Justin's wife led that decision. However, Braun, who also had Ariana Grande as a client, lost her business too. Within the last year, Braun also lost Demi Lovato and a bunch of other pending losses, all deciding they either want to go in different directions or they just outgrew him as a manager. Taylor Swift accused him of profiting from her distress when he acquired her music catalog, stating this is my worst case scenario, and describing it as someone who tried to dismantle her music legacy, now owning her entire life's work. It lends to where there is smoke, there's fire. Whatever the reason, Scooter has since retired. Throughout this financial crisis, Justin's relationship with Haley became another target for industry exploitation. Their 2018 marriage was supposed to provide stability, but instead it became another source of content and speculation. Every public appearance was analyzed for signs of trouble. Every social media interaction was dissected. When they looked happy, it was used to sell the narrative of a perfect couple. When they looked strained, it fueled divorce rumors that generated clicks and engagement. Then they welcomed their son Jack.
Had your life just so under a microscope like that. that it gotta drive you insane. I couldn't imagine, like, I wouldn't even turn on my damn TV. Shit, I don't even turn on my TV now. I couldn't imagine if like I was known and famous. Well, I'm not finna pay no attention about what the fuck people saying about me. That's crazy that people even care that much. It's wild.
Blues in August 2024, but their parenthood became another magnet for controversy. On Justin's first Father's Day, he posted that his fatherhood is not to be with Hailey later posting Father Day sucks ass. This was later removed, but the damage was done. The breaking point then came in June 2025 outside a Malibu restaurant. Justin, now a father trying to protect his family's privacy, confronted paparazzi who was stalking them.
Yeah, cause like what?
Not me today, bro.
Happy Father's
No,
Day.
stop
Happy
that.
Father's Day.
Stop. I'm a real dad
Happy
with a
Father's
real
Day.
family. And
my
you're
dad
really
as
in
well.
front of my face. No.
Happy Father's
No,
Day.
no. We're gonna set boundaries
To
here
me,
today
Happy
with
Father's
all of
Day.
you
Get out my
today.
face.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
His desperation was genuine, and his plea for basic human dignity was felt by millions, but within hours, it just became another viral meme. A father's desperate attempt to protect his family turned into another punchline, one of many throughout his entire career since childhood. Hollywood is so relentless, and unfortunately no one gets a pass. It doesn't matter if they're new parents or not, or if they're stars. If anything, a shot at their new family addition is more of an incentive to invade their privacy to get well paid. And you cannot reason with Hollywood's paparazzi hellhounds. So by early 2025, the damage was accumulating as Justin started to look more and more messed up in public.
But like to say that, like, nigga, I can't, just because I'm famous, I can't have no kid now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what you're saying. Like, because I got famous, I can't have a kid now. And I understand that's a trade-off. You know what I'm saying? You're famous, you asking for all of these problems, but it's like, God damn, I can't, bro. At some point where I can't talk to y'all as a human and be like, hey, respectfully, can y'all not do that right now? You know what I'm saying? I'll take a picture with y'all later. I'll meet up with y'all and I got this event that's coming up at this time tomorrow. We'll have the band, this and that. Y'all can come here, get your pictures, this and that. But for right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing this with my family. But a motherfucker do that and they still, Justin, you so you getting mad that we're here taking pictures of you? And it's like, bro. It's like, bro, back the fuck up before you get your ass, like, for real. Or, like, man, like, I just don't get that shit. I just don't get wanting to invade somebody's privacy that much. But again, if you incentivize to getting paid and they pay your bills, people willing to do anything, it seems like. Yep.
Appearances.
Oh.
His Instagram posts became increasingly erratic and concerning. In one series of deleted videos, he used face-distorting filters and spoke in a high-pitched voice, claiming he'd spent part of his childhood in Alaska and making rambling religious references.
You know, Alaska living. I mean, I caught a couple. I was over there, I was fishing on the dock. I was, it must have been 17, 18, 19, and when I tell you I reeled them in, Bobby, I reeled them in. I don't mean to get in between.
His body language showed distress, with constant fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, and disconnection from reality that revealed either some serious mental health struggles or just substance issues. In more lucid moments, his posts were just heartbreaking, stating he was broken and implying it was all his fault. Meanwhile, his physical appearance certainly indicates drug use or just bad health, despite his team denying these allegations and saying that Justin is actually doing really well. He once even admitted to alcoholism and said he'd started his day with pills, and was lately seen at Coachella wire-thin, gaunt, and clearly inebriated beyond alcohol alone. When you compare it to the young, innocent Justin Bieber being filmed by his mother, it's a very stark contrast. Now, it's obviously hard to have empathy for this guy, especially when he seems so insufferable in the years gone past, but it's scary to see what happens when an industry gets his hand on a child and doesn't let go for 18 years.
Exactly.
Even his mother's later admitted her fears about the industry. In her 2012 memoir, she revealed how she felt personally responsible for every contract and deal that shaped her son's future. And she
You are? And to be putting that in the book to make money off of, fuck you, lady. You weird as fuck. I bet you probably don't even have a good relationship with this lady. Because, lady, you sold your son. You sold your son to the devil and didn't give a fuck what came with it as long as you got paid. And you exhibiting that by writing a tell-all book about your son. They're talking about how you, oh yeah, I failed him. Look at what's happening to him. Just adding on to the bullshit. Yeah, you basically saying, yeah, my son's a fuck up and it's all my fault. Like, you think that's helping his mental health, bitch? Unreal.
He was just terrified of making decisions that might steer Justin towards the wrong people or damaging relationships. She admitted to following her instincts and acknowledged that her worst fears may have actually turned true, as Justin was indeed steered towards unhealthy relationships with figures like Diddy, and those very
Are you having trouble trying to keep up with your professor? You've got to try Otter. Here's how it works.
very contract she agonized over became the financial chains that would bind her son for decades. And then in July 2025, two things happened that started to surface the true nature of Justin's downfall. He settled his debts with Scooter Braun for over $30 million, and he surprise released his first album in 4 years. His comeback album Swag is a window into Justin's soul that looks so different to his earlier, more innocent music. It sounds like 21 tracks that feels like someone processing trauma in real time while the industry that broke him cashed in. Track 14, Therapy Session, has Justin telling comedian Drewski, "I've had to go through my struggles really publicly. People always asking if I'm okay starts to weigh on me." Other tracks touch on his turbulent relationships and marriage. The timing isn't coincidental. With Hailey's beauty company Rhode selling for $1 billion, the couple finally had the cash to buy Justin's freedom. But even as Justin paid up, Braun's people were telling reporters that Scooter felt taken advantage of, and had been patient with Justin while he partied away millions. Meanwhile, Justin's desperate search for meaning led him deeper into spiritualism.
The nerve of that Scooter Braun dude, bro, he need to be punched in his... I ain't gonna say nobody needs to do anything to this man, you know what I'm saying? In GTA, I was talking about GTA, you know what I'm saying? But, bro, what? You're not the artist. Why the fuck does he need to pay you anything, sir? What did you do to earn this for real? When it came out, you were stealing money from him, but no, you had people in your favor, in your back pocket, because by the sounds of this, I can already tell what type of man you are and what type of people you come from. In and ish. I bet you he is. I bet you one of those people that hate to be called, that like to throw around that term anti-Semitic. Unreal, just disgusting. He seems like a pig.
His Instagram became a stream of religious posts and pleas for spiritual guidance. But rather than a place of solace and peace, even his faith became another exploitation vector, as Justin threw himself into Hillsong Church, the celebrity megachurch known for its come-as-you-are aesthetic and A-list congregation. In 2014, during one of his darkest periods, he moved in with Pastor Carl Lentz for 6 weeks, becoming completely dependent on the charismatic leader who baptized him at 2 a.m. in an NBA player's bathtub. The relationship was described as mutually beneficial. Lentz helped rehabilitate Justin's public image, while Justin brought massive star power to the church. Former congregants described Hillsong's cultish atmosphere and celebrity obsession, where the leaders used their friendship with Justin to attract other celebrities, something exactly like Scientology. This wasn't really spiritual guidance, it was just the same manipulation playbook dressed in religious clothing. Eventually, Lentz was even fired in 2020 for multiple affairs and abuse allegations. Another person intimately connected to Justin who was struck off for being a disgusting, manipulative individual. Bieber later joined Church Home, which is a Hillsong spin-off fronted by a pastor named Judah Smith, who's been accused of other cult-like practices: childhood, adolescence, parenthood, finances, relationships, and spirituality. All the core tenets of a full life as a human seem to have been completely warped for Justin. Even with all the money and fame and looks that he's had, it seems like deep down he's left with nothing. And then there's the resurfaced Diddy connection that everyone's been dancing around. As Diddy continues to face charges, the footage of him with teenage Justin just looks so different today. And whether Justin was directly victimized or not, he was exposed to what federal prosecutors now call a criminal enterprise. But here's the real horror story. What happened to Justin isn't even unique. It's a well-worn template, and Hollywood's been perfecting this for decades. Just look at the trail of destruction. Whether it be Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, who's locked in a conservatorship for 13 years while generating $16 million annually for her handlers, Macaulay Culkin earning $23 million as a child while his father controlled every aspect of his life and finances, Lindsay Lohan churning out tabloid content even as she spiraled into addiction and legal troubles, or Amanda Bynes, whose public breakdown becomes daily entertainment while her mental health deteriorates. The Olsen twins, working since they were babies, developing eating disorders and retreating from public life entirely. Demi Lovato, who struggles with addiction and mental health, has just become part of a brand narrative. Each case follows the same pattern: early discovery, financial dependency, psychological manipulation, public breakdown, then either disposal or rehabilitation as content. And this model is going global. South Korea looked at Hollywood's child star machine and thought, we can do this better.
Wash, rinse, and repeat over and over again. This is the blueprint. We get them to use their art in the beginning. We suck them dry doing that. Once that avenue is done, then we drain their soul. We do all types of mental abuse to them, to where and we film the whole thing, and in the media it's a downward spiral of the start, and then we getting our money from that. Then we get them out of here. We whack them off, right? And then their name is going to go back up, and people are going to start listening to their old songs, looking at the old documentaries with them. We're going to come out with a new documentary about their life and all of the things. We're going to drop new nuggets about the other. And it's all just a monetized machine that these people turn into a brand, and not understanding that when you get turned into a brand, you are just a company. You're not looked at as a person anymore. As a business that just needs to keep going, rather you here or not. That business, that's your name, is gonna keep going, and somebody gonna keep making a buck off of it. Like right now, somebody is making a buck off of Michael Jackson right now, and it's not his family, and it's not the Jacksons. That's wild. And it's so many people that's happened to. Biggie Smalls, it's so many of them.
Now 10-year-olds get signed as trainees, removed from their families and conditioned in company dormitories. When Shinny's life was passed by himself in 2017, he left a note about depression that was eating him alive. And the industry response wasn't soul-searching, it was just better PR management. China's got their own version, with child influencers and pop stars disappearing into re-education when they step out of line. The UK churns through reality TV contestants on shows like Love Island, where producers keep psychological profiles detailing contestants' deepest insecurities, then deliberately exploiting them all for drama. When participants attempt to pass their own life, producers express concern while planning the next season. Hollywood created a system where childhood itself has become a commodity, where psychological damage generates more profit than mental health, where breaking someone down is more valuable than building them up. Social media just automated the entire thing, ensuring that any blind spot the media itself missed is covered, while platforming people to expose their innermost selves when they're most vulnerable and out of control. Something strays out of the Truman Show time and time again. Society funds this model. Every time people watch the celebrity breakdown video, they fund the exploitation. When Justin's desperate plea to protect his family becomes a viral joke about standing on business, it proved that even a father's attempt to shield his infant son is immediately trivial. Right now, somewhere in the world, another talented kid is being discovered. The same promises are being made about fame and fortune, but they're really just being fed into a giant machine designed to extract maximum profit from human talent, regardless of the psychological cost. So Justin doesn't really even need a comeback, he just needs an escape route. But this machine won't let go easily. They'll push until he breaks completely, and then drag what's left onto a stage for one final show. And if he refuses, they'll find another kid and start all over again. Because this industry doesn't create art or culture, it just creates trauma, then packages this as entertainment and sells it to people who mistake others as pain for pleasure. The machine is running, it's hungry, and it's looking for the next Justin Bieber. The question is, who's gonna feed it to them?
Sick. It's a sickness. We are living in a sickness, a very, very bad way of living, for real, for real. I didn't know he had herpes in the face. That's what made Justin. I've been thinking about this since they said that, like, bro, that connection with Diddy, bro. I feel like how many of those folks that we look at on these TV shows, on these music videos, man, and a lot of them are sick, like literally sick, like have diseases. That's what, like, he has herpes in the face to the point it's so bad that it paralyzed his face. Wow. That's a hell of a life to live, man. I really feel bad for that guy, but again, And I can't even say that it's his own fault because he, you know what I'm saying? This happened to him when he was a child. I blame it 1000%. Blame his mother. Like she said in her tell-all book, I feel like it's all my fault. Yeah, lady, yes, it is. Who else fault would it be? It wasn't his fucking fault. You gave the consent. He wasn't able to give it. He was a child. But man, if that video really opens your eyes to the manipulation that goes on in the industry, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? What you guys think? Do you guys think that Diddy, Sean Brown, whatever the fuck his manager name was, that damn pig, you know what I'm saying? Do you think that they were all the catalyst to what in turn ended up being Justin Bieber's downfall? Or do you guys think that Justin Bieber's choice in doing drugs and all of that was of his own volition, and he just spiraled out of control, and he's the narrative that we keep being fed about all of these teen stars when they get of age and end up, you know what I'm saying, in rehab and totally messed up, that oh no, it's their fault and it's not this industry that is poisoning them, that is making them go through something that is so bad that it's a trauma response that's making them turn to drugs and abuse drugs to try to mask whatever is happening to them behind closed doors. That it seems like that if they talk about it, that something's gonna happen, so they just mask it. That's what it seems like to me, man. But I don't know, man. We gonna keep pulling this thread on this channel for real. We really are. But if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are subbing up and joining the kingdom. Also, we are live over at Twitch Wednesday through Fridays and sometimes Saturday nights. So make sure you guys go over there and follow me as well, and follow me on TikTok on all platforms, King Marcel 9. But with that being said, King Marcel out. Peace.
Never waste a life, looking for the prize. That's eternal life. And bringing the things in my mind. Talking real peace of mind.